Hey, welcome back to another Montreal Canadian Habs Nation show with the hockey coach, Coach Frenchy, directly for the beautiful country of Thailand. One amazing great Tuesday night, February 18, 2025. Hopefully, an amazing great week so far. We're ready to talk about the Euro Montreal Canadian, the Blue Blanc Rouge, back on the action or back on the ice today at the complex Bell Center and Brassard. We'll talk about the Montreal Canadiens tonight. We'll talk about, of course, other four nation. I'm going to talk about also the NHL Draft 2025. The Montreal Canadiens news around the prospect, and we have so many things to talk about. Honestly, I think now the Montreal Canadiens are back. The fans will be back, and and the chat talking about the NHL. I think some of you are just waiting for the NHL game restart and to complete with a final game at Thursday night at the Foundation. We're going to talk about fun news because it's fun news to talk about with the Team USA. But the subject of the night, guys, about they are back. I'm talking about Martin St. Louis and, of course, the players for the Montreal Canadiens are back at the practice, like I mentioned to you. So we have a couple of news around Montreal Canadiens, NHL also. So it's a full show tonight at the Habs Nation Podcast. So I can wait to talk about everything with all of you. And we have a couple of things like that. We can do the Q&A session, of course, during the show. And to be with me tonight, we have the only one that is in Toronto after he finished to put all the snow in the backyards of Luciano with a big jumping snow. And I'm talking about Mr. Enartap. He's with me tonight. Welcome back, Mr. Enartap.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. We're almost there, Coach. We're
Yeah,
almost there.
you're,
Thursday
abs-
night, and then we get back to regular NHL.
you're absolutely about that. And
Should
we
be a
want to
dandy.
welcome everybody to be part of the show. And we want to say, Gary Connoyer, UPS driver. I don't know how he did it, but with all the snow in the downtown in Montreal, he looked like he's ready to rock and roll, talking about the Montreal Canadiens. So, Gary Connoyer, welcome back. Rob is back in the house. Welcome back, Rob. Rob with Kings moderator, fans of the Kings and Utah. We'll talk about him in the next couple of minutes. Luc Fortin, of course. Butch Bouchard, directly from Vermont, Massachusetts. LDP Newfoundland is back in the house. PLW, go with what? Dunman, one over Sporting Lisbon. There we go. Is what? Is a racetrack. Is this a horse? What the heck is that? Soccer?
The NASCAR, which one?
Sporting
Yeah,
Lisbon.
yeah, it's soccer.
Maybe interesting about that. Ozzy
Yeah, he's
Galabo
talking
is in
about
the
soccer.
house. Just talk about the trade, money trade with Denis Senko. Grigory Denisenko Mishanta was traded for to the Nashville from the biggest golden night for the best player and the planet, the future consideration, Mr. Tap. Which team is Raf Denisenko,
Richard,
Mr. Tap?
uh, was it Vancouver?
No,
No. Was it a Canadian team? Wasn't it a Canadian team?
no.
No. Okay. I'm off
Grigory
then.
Denisenko was drafted by the Florida Panthers.
Florida.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that.
expectation was
Yeah.
pretty good for him, but never reached his full potential. If he's not a first round pick late, he's a second round pick early. This say go. The
Right.
same kind of player play with them. It's called Annie me, whatever he is. The last he never reached their full potential inside of that organization. So the only reason I was with the Florida Panthers, the time I was there, Denis Senko was one of the top prospect with Sorzif. Justin Sorzif never make it also. Another prospect for them. RJ is in the house. Abination knocked it out. Welcome back. And Abination said, hey, the fantasy, he start one. I'm waiting for my fantasy hockey team. Abination. Claude Richard from Ottawa is in the house. Jake Evan, as good as gold and bien possible. Two rumors for RDA. Ronald, welcome in the house.
Welcome.
About that. We have a stand man. Welcome, Luciano Graziano, moderator of the Hockey Nation show. Welcome back. Thanks to be a part of the show. And then what we got at the end, Excel is in the house tonight. Excel, welcome back. Excel did say, I don't watch the foundation. I did not see a lot Excel in, of course, Mr. AG. We don't see them. Hopefully, see them when the Montreal go to returning on the ice, Mr. Naftap. So that's what we talk about, everybody. Don't forget, please, to click on the like. If you don't mind, that'd be great. We appreciate that. If you have any question tonight, this is the flow. This is a show go to floating and the go and flow with flow. Go left and right. Nothing big. If you have any questions, just ask her to put the letter Q in front of the question so we can try to get your question live right away and give you the best answer we can know about your question. So that's what we got about this one. Look like the Vancouver Canucks. I signed the winger Drew O'Connor to a 2-year contract at $5 million, 2.5. Drew O'Connor was part of the which trade, Mr. Altap?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. You're absolutely right
Yes.
about that. You nailed it. Simon, number 11, back in the house tonight. Welcome back, Mr. Simon 11. We miss you. Hopefully, you're doing well. Thanks to be a part of the show. And, the last 24 hours, honestly, you can talk about the Team USC injuries, or you can talk about the snow, Mr. Tap. So, before we start,
And
I want to know what's going on with the snow around the east of Canada.
well, today we got another 5 to 6 centimeters unexpectedly. It wasn't called for. So the drive home was a little bit much difficult for everybody and quite slow. So as soon as you come home, shovel the driveway, of course. So
Yeah.
that part, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Hopefully that's the end of it, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. You get burned a lot for the last couple of days. Snow from all his friends on
Oh
location. But if you're looking for someone, look at person is he said to us he's willing to go to anywhere to clean up
no,
all the backyard.
he
So
said he said his neighbor will do it for
yeah,
him.
look, he's ready to do that. He liked watching the people from the inside the house, Mr. Tap, to looking outside what's going on. So
with
that's
with the binoculars.
yeah, sorry about that. First of all, Mr. Tap, NHL News, Four Nation tournament. The
Big news.
USA are really, really in a bad shape. When I said a bad shape, I'm talking about some injuries. We know the last game, Matthew Katcho was not there for
Yeah.
caution. Austin Matthew was not there for caution. During the game, also, they announced that Charlie McEnroy have to be hospitalized to go to the hospital. Is it a Boston Herald, Boston, whatever the hospital, General Hospital? This was
Yes.
confirmed by the Boston Bruins organization. And then during the game, they lost also Brady Kachuk. So that's happening there. They already announced it yesterday or this today. Charlie McEnroy is going to miss the game Thursday night. And look like Matthews and
And he's
go ahead.
and he's week to week. He's week to week as well for Boston afterwards.
Yeah. So that would be interesting for McEnroy. But after that, they announced Quinn Hughes is going to join the team. So it's a really
But is he?
it's a tournament where they have rules, but they change the rules. So that's okay, no big deal, right? We want to have the best player on the ice, right? The rule was the NHLPA. The NHLPA does not want to have too many players on the roster. So it was the first thing about that. And then when they lost Mekar and Theodore, they could not call anybody. And then they changed the rules for open the door to Thomas Harley. USC was complaining about this, but they let it go. Now it's the USC now on the flip side. Quinn Hughes was originally in the lineup or the roster for Team USA. And then they
Hmm.
put him out because of an injury, like Alex Pirangelo, example, right? And now they put back Quinn Hughes, but McEnroy is out. Now the problem is this: Quinn Hughes is in Vancouver Canucks practice today. He's on the ice. Ah, he can fly from Vancouver to go back to Boston. Boston, you return to Vancouver. Vancouver plays Saturday. It's a long trip, but it is what it is. But the problem, Mr. Antab, is Quinn Hughes is on the jersey collar with no contact.
Yeah. No contact jersey. Yep.
So the problem now is like we don't know yet if he would be a part of the team or not. If he's not, he may be called up anybody else to get there. So it would be
Yeah,
interesting
I mean
how they go to
that would
turn
be the
around that part.
possibility. Like if I'm the Vancouver Canucks, you know as much as possible I try to discourage him. Right. I mean he's such a critical key component for that Vancouver Canuck team that right now they're battling Calgary for that last wild card position. You'd hate to have him out for an extended period of time, and this final game between Canada and U.S. is not going to be a pond hockey. It's going to be a tough, rough game, and they're going to be hitting hard. And you can easily recur an injury just with one hit, as we found out, and the states have found out.
Yeah, so the last 24 hours, right? Everything changed with the injury of the Team USA. Because after that, if you are Bill Zito, and you called Matthew Kachuk, said, look, buddy, we still have 25 games to go at the end of the season, and then we're at the playoff. So, yeah, it's a really
It's a
difficult
fine line.
because you want to give the NHL have something big at their hands. Like this is what huge.
Yeah.
The viewers of the game and they want to see Team USA versus Team Canada Thursday night. They have rules they put at the beginning of the tournament. Now they change the rules, and the injury make an impact, and the team are a bit cautious about the impact of the injury. I don't know what it would be happening for the next 48 hours, but if I was me, like right now, NHL should Canada go get Dom Wilson. Play Tom Wilson if you want to. USA, go get anybody if you want to. Put the best player on the ice Thursday night and play a final. That would be my because at the end you want the fans win at the end to watching this game. And it's the game, whenever they said, oh, we have to get no injuries, it's going to be intense, Mr. Top. When the puck drop, it's going to be the same thing happening last week. Maybe not fight, but it's going to be try to
Yeah,
win that tournament.
it's going to be a very intense game. Yeah.
So we'll
But
see.
I mean, coach, the issue here is not so much the tournament. I think the tournament it's shown that it's drawing good numbers. People are obviously engaged in it and want to see these kinds of games. The problem is the time in which it was implemented. Right in the middle, pretty much the middle of the season, just a little bit over the middle point. If this was, let's say, at the beginning of the season, it's a whole different issue. Like you don't worry as much because even if you get an injury, you have lots of time to still recuperate, and there's still enough games to seriously, make the playoffs, and it doesn't impact you. But to do it now, especially since some teams, there might be players that could very much so be part of a trade coming up, and this could impact a possible trade that's in verbal agreement with somebody else. So who knows? It's just the timing of it that's a little bit unfortunate.
Yep, sorry about that. We have Mac Elliott knock the door. We have Randy Walkman knock the door. Welcome. Pizza knock the door. Welcome, everybody. Some people have its fun opinion about this. For me, Miss, I'll be honest with you. Um, this is great. At the end of the day, this is great for the hockey fans to see that, and the
Absolutely.
impact change or the way Kachuk did at the beginning, the boo and Canada, right? Uh, Motivate the player for to have some kind of reaction against Team Canada Saturday night. From that, you have three fights in the first 9 seconds. From that, you have an excellent game with intensity, with physicality. It was play hard. And at the end, this is a game where you want to looking for. It was like almost like an NHL playoff at the end of the year. And it's become that way. Obviously, Monday, the game afternoon when Canada win, the game the Saturday, Monday night have no signification. It is what it is. It's happened that way. But we still have a final right there. So it would be really interesting how they're going to react about that. I think both teams want to win. I don't think so. Sidney Crosby is going to say, "Hey, we're not going to play to have fun here." He's want to win that tournament over there. And the other side, Team USA, we said, "Wait a minute, we want to win that tournament too." So for me, I think that would be the same way. You're going to see intensity, physicality, a
Absolutely.
speed game. You're going to get a lot of great players over there. I think that would be fun to see that as a hockey fans. And I think you're going to get 5 million people going to watch the game. And if the viewers be there, and in the next 24 hours, Mr. Top, starting tomorrow, Wednesday morning until Thursday night, the puck drop, you're going to see on the social media, you're going to see that game get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more at the USC side at Canada, I believe. I think USC side is going to see the fans checking about that. I remember, I think it's 2010, Mr. Tap. I could be wrong. Remember, like the team USC beat Canada at the round robin, right?
Yeah.
And then they won. It was expect Team USA to beat them at the final of the tournament, and but Canada beat them, and
Hmm.
that's what the problem for that part. So the Team USA wants to say, look, we want to win also at the final, and not that the same repeat the same history happening in the past. So look, this is going to be good. This will be great, and it is what it is. It's part
It
of the
is.
hockey, and you can be hurt
I mean,
anywhere, I believe.
when you look at their head-to-head competition, you know, over different tournaments, Olympics, I think Canada's up 14-4 or 14-4-1 is their record. And it's in these kind of tournaments, it's also extremely difficult to win like a back to back, right? Where you win the round robin game and then you also win in the playoff, or in this case the finals. So it's for sure going to be an exciting game. I said it before. I said the action of it, the intensity that it brings, it really shows you, what the benefits to putting together teams like this are in terms of growing the game, in terms of showing folks across the whole world, not just North America, the beauty of hockey. The problem was, and still is, and has become, the injury aspect of it. It's unfortunate that some players have been affected by it. We're going to see how guys like Matthews and the Kachucks. Of course, we know about McAvoy. On Team Canada, Vegas has lost Theodore for it's a week to week basis as well. So this is what you didn't want to see, right? Like you wanted to see the players go hard at each other because it makes it for an exciting brand of hockey. But you didn't want to see these injuries happening, especially this time of the year.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So we'll see what happens. Then we're going to talk about the Four Nation, guys, the next couple of minutes. No problem. You have any question, the time. And if you have any question, and the question, and the chat, don't forget to put the little Q about that. Um, I will say to you, Luciano, I look about this. The study is this way. Luciano, we have a report get out yesterday, I believe. I don't know, it was the Atlantic website. They mentioned the attendance percentage is higher this year and to the NBA and for the NHL. But the viewers, like the NBA, are dropping on the view of the game. So that's happening about that, Luciano. So I just want to let you know about this. Not when I said increasing at the attendance, I'm not talking about like 30%, but they are increasing the attendance this season. Tony DeMark is in the house. Welcome back, Tony DeMark. We have Woody
Welcome.
Snyder. Welcome also. Thanks for being a part of the show, you guys. Don't forget, please, to get on that. If you don't mind, that'd be great. We appreciate a lot. We're going to rock and roll, guys, and we'll go to flow. Any question about the Montreal Canadiens or anything, talk about this. Then it's an announcement, Top, from the Vancouver Canucks. Demko is going to be out for the week, 2 weeks right now. Demko,
Big
2, 3
loss.
years ago, signed a contract at 5 years at $5 million, if I can recall it properly, the right way. I could be wrong, but I think it is what it is. He got an injury, I think it was 2 years ago. I think he got a surgery at the hip or something like that.
Or was it a groin? I think it was a groin injury. Oh no, you're right. You're right. It was a hip injury. Yes, the groin was later on.
At that moment, I think it was Elliot or Frank announced could be very difficult to Demko to be back like he was before in the past. And saying that, you can see he have difficult time to stay healthy. Like he cannot play a full year, 50 game, and no problem. So they announced that this could be also after this season, maybe the end of Demko in NHL.
It would be very unfortunate, and both for Vancouver, but more so for Demko. He's an excellent goaltender. You'd hate to see him end his career on that, but here at home, we've witnessed it with Carey Price. One of the best in the business, and we saw how his career was shortened. It's hard to come back from hip injuries for players and goalies, but especially goalies because of the type of lateral mobility that they have to exert from time to for most of the game, not just time to time, but on a continual basis. So it's unfortunate, and the way things were going with Lankinen here at the Four Nations, you don't know if he can hold up the fort for the rest of the way. So people that were saying, "Hey, Calgary's out of this now; they're too far back." I don't know. Wolf is playing extremely well. The team is doing well. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Calgary snuck in there.
They fight for the spot, right? So we'll see happening. We have
GT.
Rick pop up. Welcome, Rick. We have also Randy Walkman pop up also. Then we have another one that said, "Oh, Mr. Butch Bouchard again. The second Butch, he's in the house. What is another knocked the door also." And a lot of people, guys, don't forget please to click on it. Do you mind? That'd be awesome. We'll talk about N26 knocked the door as a knee injury. Also, N26 talk about this. Flying last there 3 and the now and the road. Randy, they go to have a difficult schedule right now, but I think they will be fine after that. The problem with Vancouver Canucks is the Elias Peterson. The trade deadline,
Yeah,
what are you going to do with Brock Bowser? They have a lot of question mark with the Vancouver Canucks also. So it's going to be a fight between the Flames and the Vancouver Canucks all the way to the end. And I think for me,
absolutely.
the Flame will say, you know what? Where we at right now? No chance we're going to the bottom 10. We're going to try to get a spot in the playoff, and they're going to stay in the middle of that part. And with the goaltender Dawson Wolf, and they're going to give him a lot. I expect the Flame to be not a big seller. It'll be more like a statistical, maybe a 1 or 2 player. That's all. The Vancouver Canucks will try to figure out. At that moment, they are one 3 point over the Calgary Flame, and they have a good run. The Vancouver Canucks before the end of the break, 6-3-1. But we'll see what happens with that. But it's going to be interesting to see that race on the between both teams. Montreal getting in. I know it's David Rebarker, Mr. Tap, full
Doing
gear,
well.
skating well, intensité, physicalité, go in the corner at the Laval Rocket. Pascal Vincent announced that possible Rebarker play tomorrow. Possible he plays on the weekend. And definitely he's going to
Mhm.
play next week. So I wish I could get you at the right date, Mr. That, but that was his press conference in French today at the radio station. Pascal Vincent, head coach of the Laval Rocket, announced David Rebecca is just a question of the time returning. This is very surprised that he is maybe beat 2 months before he was supposed to returning on the ice. He looked comfortable on the ice today at the practice. Glad to see David Rebecca. The Laval Rocket are hurt, Mr. Natat, right now. They're missing players. Vincent
Both.
Arsenault, Gignac, Dach, Simoneau,
Yeah,
defenseman Linkstrom. I'm missing also another Ace or Jacob is out. Maybe one miss another forward guy. So yeah, not it's the Laval Rocket right now. They try to go through really a bad timing with many injuries with that team. and not only a couple of days injury, like day to day, it's week to week, month to month. So we'll be interesting about that. But it's great to hear from you, from David Rebacker. So maybe you can add something about David Rebacker.
Well, it's encouraging news, right? Initially, they had said that it could be season ending for him, and the rehab would take a lot longer than it has. So it's encouraging not only to see him back on skates but skating well. We've seen some highlights as well, and he looks very good out there. It would definitely be a big help for the Laval defense if they can get him back in there as well. And it's important that he stays healthy and gets some games under his belt, because moving forward for Montreal, he's going to be one of those players that Montreal is going to have to really evaluate and see if he's ready at a younger pace than so far has been projected for him, and only due to the injuries that he's incurred over the last couple years. So we'll see this. We'll see what happens with that, but at least right now it looks encouraging.
Yeah, absolutely about that. N26 gave us some information. Steven is in the house. Welcome back, Steven. Thanks for being with the show tonight. And we have a couple of people talk about different things. And we'll see about this. Patrick Laine, some guys, you have a question, guys, on the queue, and one in our top talk. But I try to answer to you guys in the chat, so I don't we don't have to go all the way. But I just give you your answer Excel about Patrick Laine. So we'll see what happening. Luke Dach is also injury. Yeah, Gary missing 8 weeks. I believe that's his second major injury of the year. Mr.
Yeah.
Tap, at the practice today, Martin St. Louis, first of all, he had a new look. He caught his beer. But after that, he said,
Does that mean he thinks they're not in the mix anymore?
no. And then he said, Trevor, you have your equipment? Because we have only 10 forward. We're missing players.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
Trevor said, no, I'm not going to this. But he said, maybe we can call Yvon Lambert. But Yvon Lambert could not do it, Mr. Tap. He was still at the office at the Monson. But what happened, Mr. Tap? I don't know what happened with Michael Pesada. But he got hurt during the vacation, Mr. Tap. So I don't know where he been, but he is hurt, Mr. Nata, Michael Pesada. He got an injury during the break. He did not get hit across on the street, Mr.
Not like Heineman, no.
But we'll see. Emin is still recovery, not ready yet, but he's question the days for him. Martin Sui was happy to see him, to see Emin around. But it was another day, Mr. Nata, but Josh Anderson, it's called a treatment day, right? In English?
Treatment day, yeah.
Yep. So Montreal right now have 10 forward. You expect Anderson to be back on the ice or be 11. They're missing 2 forward. Possible they call up one player before Saturday. They play against Ottawa Senator. If it's the case, Mr. Tap, it's not going to happen tomorrow night because Laval Rocket play tomorrow night. But if it's the case, who do you expect Montreal could call up, or what your expectation are for from the Laval Rocket?
Well, I guess it all depends on who the player is that's going to be out of the lineup, right? If it's a winger, I mean, I would love to see Davidson come up. I think he's really earned the opportunity to come up and play with the big team for a while. Of course, we saw Beck come up and he did well in the short time that he was here, so he would be no stranger to Montreal and the organization in terms of their style of play. He'd be a shoe in there. Like I said, it all depends on who's out. If I think Heineman is pretty much day to day now, so he'll be a pleasant welcome back into the lineup after he got hit by a vehicle and sustained a wrist injury. So I would love to see also, some players that can bring a little bit of grit to the team, right? I wouldn't mind seeing like a Tuck or even uh, Florian Jack come up for a bit, just to give him a bit of an audition as well, and the opportunity. But if I had to speculate, I would say Beck would probably be the first on their radar. And I mean, I don't think Raw will come up right now, um, but I would like to see Davidson as well. His possibilities really intrigue me.
Yeah. Welcome, John. John B said that Quinn Hughes would play for US Thursday night, so something like that. I disagree with you, Randy. I think this tournament is not stupid. I think this is great for the hockey fans, the marketing NHL. They make money. The viewers, the hockey fans are getting more. I think for me, this is a great tournament. I'm watching an All Star game where it's nothing good about that, and nobody watch about that. I think the formula is good. It's not great. It's the first time. They can improve it. They can learn from that. They have mistake. From this, they're going to see the review of that tournament, and they're going to figure out something else. I think for me, that'd be better, Mr. to add two more teams, to add six teams. I understand the delay and the break of the season, everything like that. But that formula of that tournament, Mr. And I think someone said that in the chat, I agree with that, is the preview
For the Olympics.
of the Olympics 2026. That was the purpose behind that. And I think the
Yeah,
NHL got a little bit more misguided about the intensity of that tournament turnaround to be that bigger at what their expectation was. So I think this is good for the hockey fans at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I said this at the beginning, you don't want anybody to get hurt. But
that's the key.
but around that, the players represent the team, they represent the country. The Team USA, the Hockey USA, have been built that system with the national development hockey team for years, starting with Granetto and with Roger Grillo and those
That's right.
people. They send the MDM, the it's a long term. Well, it's MDM is can't remember the three letter. And they started changing this 20 years ago, Miss Hunter. When we were at the clinic at the clinic of coaching, they would try to starting to do small praxis and everything like that. They changed the philosophy to teach the youth hockey program in USA. And this become now to bigger. They try to become the top best country in the world in hockey, and they're getting closer and closer and closer. And you can see if you look about the lineup they have, and 90% of them is coming from that program, from Austin Matthews to Jake Sanderson, and I can go all the way like that. And they go that program, they get that at 16 years old. They go at
Yeah,
U16, the U18 team after that. And then after that, they go to UCHL, or they go to NCAA, and then from the NCAA they go to NHL. For them, this is what the Team USA are trying to win that tournament, because that reputation they want to build on the international. They prove it, Mesanta, on the World Junior Championship and the last two World Junior Championship. This is what the reason they have that part. And I think for me, the fans, for me, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. We just don't to have any injuries. But try again,
yeah,
Mesanta.
it is. It is. It definitely is, Coach. Like this, we have to be careful not to confuse it. It's an NHL sanctioned tournament, right? So there was collaboration between the NHLPA and the owners to and the NHL to put this tournament together, as you said, accurately, as a preview to the Olympics next year. And then what they've done for the future is they're going to have 6 to 8 teams, possibly eight, I believe, moving forward after that, and it's going to be on a regular basis. Again, I think it's just the timing that can be considered a little bit concerning because of the injuries, but otherwise, I mean, anytime these players put on the jersey of their country, I mean, you're going to get the best of hockey. And how can anybody that appreciates hockey say that that's not good for the game?
Yeah, sorry about that. A lot of people in the chat, guys, you extend. I love your comments in the chat. Would be hard to bring all of you know. But yeah, a lot of great conversations. Gilbert, Nicholas, Ron, Steven, M26, and keep up with the conversation between all of you. That bring a lot of great comments in the chat. So I appreciate a lot. Mr. Tap, let's go talking about my buddy, even Demidov, Mr. Tap. He continues to performing. Now he have a day off. He have 4 days off, so Demidov will be relaxing with September. But Demidov, Mr. Tap, had 2 more points, secondary assists. Is 28 or 29 assists of the year. And with that, as the both assists, he got 48 points. He is now tied number 8 in the KHL with 2 assists. This is the last game they played 2 days ago. Well, not yesterday, but the day before that. And Demidov got 2 assists again, Silver Star, and one they win by the score of 5-3. But Demidov is on top, is looking good and looking good, better and better. Yes, the last 2 games, the SK is struggling, but he's still hanging there. He turned the line. He go from the first line, second line, third line, to return third line, go back second line. Unfortunately, last game he played only 13, 14 minutes. But the last 10, 15 game, he's getting better and better and better. And this is a plus going to be with the Montreal Canadiens for the upcoming season. His contract finished May 31st. And you're not going to see him around the Montreal Canadiens, the Laval Rocket at the end of the season. He's going to respect that contract. But expect him to sign a 3 years entry level contract at some point during the summer with the Montreal Canadiens. So expect him to see him, the number 91, Demidov, looking good for the team SKA. And the fans, if he was excited when the Montreal made the playoff, again, Tampa Bay Lightning, the Vegas, Winnipeg Jet, Mr. Tap, and when they welcome from the Wisconsin Badger, the number 22, Cole Caulfield, scored 4 goals on the playoff. Now, fans was excited for 1 year. Obviously, Montreal fall apart with the Weber and Carey Price. They got a first-round pick. Right. They got Uri Sarkowski. Fans are getting excited about Uri Sarkowski. Meanwhile, they draft Laine, and the fan was a little bit skeptical. He's too small. He's not going to be. The fans love Laine right now for the Montreal Canadiens. Now they draft last year even Demidov, and this is going to be the next player for the Montreal Canadiens, where the fans are going to be again excitement and the building of the Bell Center. So even Demidov, guys, the question the man, be ready because you're going to see a great hockey player play for the Montreal Canadiens. Yes, don't expect 35 goals, 70 point, 80 point, but you're going to see a player going to make the Montreal again better to play with the Montreal next season. They will see, we will see that the change of the Montreal Canadiens is getting there. More talent, more skilled players, and the team's getting a little bit close what they're looking for. And possibly with new players coming around the team. So I think Montreal is going to the right direction. But even Demidov have a great year so far with the team SKA. If you want to add something about that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, it all works towards solidifying that second line, right? And, by adding somebody like a Demidov on that line next year, I think it goes a long way to now giving you 2 scoring lines. And he's going to be very exciting. Like we've seen the highlights, of course, but that doesn't always translate immediately in the NHL. It takes time. I mean, you look at some of the players that come up their first year, and the adjustment for some it's quicker, and for others it takes, sometimes 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, even Guy Lafleur right out of the gates was not ripping up the NHL points. It took him 3 years. His third year, he started to really take off and fly. But I mean, Demidov, it's very promising. Right now, he's tied for eighth in scoring in the KHL. I think he's only 7 or 8 points behind second place overall. Chances are he probably won't catch number one because there aren't that many games left. How many more games, Coach? Is it ten
He
or
plays
11
6 years. I
games?
think he's right now at 13.
13 more
Well,
games.
13
So
plus
it's gonna
game right now. Right now,
yeah, it's gonna be hard.
he's honestly 8 points behind Kuzev. And the
Yeah,
number one is Levo. Remember, Levo played with the team Carolina. He is right now 64 points. But yeah, 41 goals this year for that. If you consider the top 10 best player for the KHL most point, Demidov is approximately 4 5 minutes less TY per game. I did
right.
a post about yesterday on Demidov. Demidov have a point per game by 60 at 3.8. This is the one of the highest number you can
That's
get for Demidov on that one. So it's not per game, per 60
per 60
per game
minutes.
is
Yeah.
at 0.86, I believe. I did a mathematics yesterday. I look about this. I make a post about Demidov on my X account. You can follow me at Coach Frenchy 10X, or you're looking for X. You can look for Habs Nation about that. So that's happening for Demidov. So be very interesting about that. What it could happen for Demidov. Here we go. We're going to move on with other subject. Everybody, thanks for being part of the show. Don't forget, please click on the likes. Mr. Tap, Montreal Canadiens, 26 more game. The trade deadline is coming,
26.
and the Laval Rocket is coming. So what I said that, Mr. Tap, this is what is honestly for the Montreal Canadiens. Um, it's what is coming for the next until at the end of the April. Now I could go Mr. Tap with the schedule to give you exactly who they play, everything like that. But I'll be honest with you, the Montreal Canadiens are number 4 or 5 in NHL with the less difficult schedule for the Montreal Canadiens for the next 26 games. Now we have approximately 6 game guys for the Montreal Canadiens to be before the trade deadline March 7th. I think it's 6 game. At the trade deadline, Kenny is going to make some change. Could have an impact on the roster for the Montreal game for until to the end of the season. And of course, the Laval Rocket on the race right now to try to finish first at the North Division and at the maybe make the playoff and go from there. So there are a lot of decision Montreal can go around. But when you look about this next 6 7 games on top, the trade deadline, what do you expect from Ken Hughes, and then after that, what do you expect from the Montreal Canadiens? And the people in the chat, what your expectation about that? How many points? What is going to see them finish? What it will targeting? What you going looking for? And what will be the evaluation? And yeah, but it's fun. Maybe question. Are they going to looking for about Kirby Dach? The situation with Patrick Laine. What's going to be the next 26 game for Juraj Sakaski? The situation on the right defenseman. What happened there? Are they going to trade Jake Evans, Juan Amia, Christian Dvorak, David Savard? What will be the targeting of the goal of the next 26 game for Martin Saint Louis? It's another question, and that's the
It's a
direction we
lot.
can go tonight. But what you see that for the development of what you can see an overview from your telescope from Toronto, Mr. Tap, looking for Montreal, what happening for them?
Look, Coach, I don't anticipate Hughes or Gorton really to go outside their blueprint of what they're intending to do in their rebuild, right? I think part of it was, the getting rid of some of the contracts early on, then drafting and developing their players. They're doing that. They're at that point. They've acquired more players and prospects than they will ever be needed on the team. Of course, not all of them will pan out. Some will be part of trades in order to address other areas of need. So that's all part and parcel with what they're going to be doing. Having said that, they still have a couple things that they need to do. They still need to clear out some bad contracts that are on the team, right? Uh, the fact that Laval is doing well is just sort of evidence of the fact that the plan is working well and that the prospects are developing as expected. I still anticipate, something like, perhaps Evans going. Of course, there's Dvorak. That's a possibility. I mean, one thing we know about Hughes is he doesn't want to lose players that are going out to free agency at the end of the year for nothing. By the same token, he's not just going to trade them away to get a fourth or a fifth round pick. I mean, that doesn't fit into the plans that they're doing. So they expect some kind of packaging, something creative, something outside, the box in terms of what their approach will be. So I can see either a three team trade possibility coming up. I could see them maybe absorbing a contract that will terminate at the end of the year in order to get a prospect in the interchange of the trade that will help them down the road. And if it's a prospect that's either a low level A type of prospect or a high level B prospect, then you can see packaging of players. I would not I would not take anything off the table. I think if if the price is right, I think they will seriously consider it. There's very few players that I would consider on this team currently that are non-tradable, and I think we know who those people are. But the other ones, they're all fair game, and if it's something that makes sense for the team, I expect that they'll pursue that. At least they'll listen to offers, right? They'll kick the can around and see what they can get. Right now, the biggest trade rumor they have out there right now is possibly LA pursuing Evans in order to get a player down the middle that is defensively responsible, can kill penalties, can score in key situations when needed. And he would be a great addition there because I think what they're trying to do is get Quentin Byfield to play on the wing again rather than at center. And they know right now a lot has been put on his shoulders to try to balance both offense and defensive responsibility. So adding somebody like a Jake Evans makes complete sense there. Question is, what do you get in return, and what are they willing to give you in return? So these are all things that will be answered in the very near future. But I anticipate something creative happening, and you're going to see probably a good young prospect maybe coming back the other way. Unless you get a first round pick and it's a half decent pick, because then they could do some movement at the draft. That's always a possibility. So the options are there, and that's the beauty of all of this is that Kent Hughes holds a lot of cards at his disposal to use in order to make this team better moving forward.
You're right about that. A lot of great comments in that chat also. I think we'll be interested with the trade deadline will look like for the Montreal Canadiens with Jake Evan, everything like that. They tried to cover the Laval Rocket. I think for your statement, I would say a little bit more about the Laval Rocket because every move they're going to make with Owen Beck or Davidson or Mayu or anybody else, Joshua Roy, could affect the Laval Rocket. If they try to protect that team, whatever they focus on the NHL. Honestly, the team NHL, they really care about the NHL before they talk about American Hockey League. But still, the impact of the trade line could make something like that. I wouldn't be surprised, Montreal, at the same time they trade someone like Jake Evan example, and they're not targeting about asset coming back. And so with that trade, we want to be sure we cover this. We have this. I think they would like to get at some point in return also another veteran players to fill up the last spot on Montreal Canadiens for the rest of the balance of the season, like they did last year with Colin White, if you remember
Right.
that.
Two
And I
years
think
ago, yeah.
yeah, so that's something I think Montreal going to targeting more to protect those players like Beck and everybody else to stay uh, with the Laval Rocket. No, it's not at the end of the world. If you bring one player like Owen Beck and then can send him back in Laval at the end, like Jaden Strawell, I think could join the Laval Rocket and boost that team at the end, and we'll see. But the traded line will be an impact for the last 26 games for the Montreal Canadiens. That would be really what it could happen if they lose Jake Evans and Christian Dvorak. The center Montreal Canadiens are going to be hurt for the rest of the balance of the season. And for that, Montreal going to get now they will be at the bottom 10 of the NHL draft for the upcoming. So all the questions, we don't have those answers yet, Mr. Tap. Can use really, for me, the next 26 games is going to start with the trade deadline. For the trade deadline, that will be an impact for the last 26 games. And for the trade deadline, and after that, that will be an impact for the Laval Rocket. But at the end of the day, Mr. Tap, the Montreal Canadiens are going to give everything to Laval Rocket to have the best team to go deep in the
Of
playoffs.
course.
I'm talking about Jacob Fuller, possible they can call up from Vincent Rower. They can add
Well,
Trouble,
Ryan
I just
Bacher.
mentioned to you. They can add if they call up return Dobesh with the Laval
Hmm.
Rocket. So would be interesting at the end what could happen about that. So but again, I think Montreal Canadiens and the Laval Rocket ought to be on the right position about this one. We're not done, Mr. Antal. We're going to go back at the formation, Mr. Antal. Like I said, we're going to go up and down. We'll go to the left hand. We'll go right. We'll open the door. We'll close the door. And we'll see what happened in front of us. And the next door, Mr. Antal, is the formation.
Door number 3.
USA, Canada. The preview of the
Yeah.
game. What we're looking for, what is going to happen, Mr. Antal. I'm going to have a couple of questions for you. And with maybe some kind of prediction for the people in the chat. And we have a lot of people talk about this. Steven talk about Montreal trade Evans and the Warwick bring back Del Ways. Yeah, maybe that would be a thing about that.
The
But
Dutch Lafleur.
the Buffalo Sabre rumor Biram is available. Yeah, is a left under one over there. Nick Cash would be good for the Montreal, but the price was too expensive for the Montreal Canadiens to get him in return. That's the reason. But if you look about that, Mr. Top, if you go on the
Yeah.
goalies, Adebak versus Bennington, advantage, I believe, the goalie.
USA.
The
Yeah.
defenseman, Mr. Top, advantage, USA because Montreal, Canada does not have Pietrangelo. They don't have Theodore with injuries. Whatever they're
Right.
missing, Quinn Hughes, you can see the in the beginning, guys. Slavin, Faber, McEnroy now is out, right? But they also
Hannafin, Fox.
they have a very deep defenseman advantage on the forward with injuries they have right now, and the forward and the forward of Canada, for me, is advantage Canada. We have McDavid, McKinnon, and Crosby already there. It's already better what USA have together. And then, yeah, point, I can go the way we know everything like that. So I think this is what we're going to see. And now with injuries for front player for Team USA, maybe disadvantage for them. But
Well,
this is,
I like the way they switched up the lines a little bit, the first and second line, and made both lines much more flexible and much more viable in terms of scoring. And we saw that against the um, Finland in the last game. They were creating opportunities. There was more chemistry, coach, as well. You saw McDavid and McKinnon, and of course Crosby were working at will, pretty much. I know that it was a much more inferior defense than the United States defense, but at this point, I'm going to say the important thing for Canada is to come out and making sure to take the body. I think that you're dealing with a USA team that has some bumps and bruises, and you have to finish your checks and make them feel your weight every single time they touch the puck, and not give them anything that they don't have to really earn. Right? Just stay away from the mistakes. I know the goaltending situation is in favor of USA, but when you stop to think about it, Canada is the only team, if I'm not mistaken, that hasn't changed their goaltender. So there's the element of consistency, and as some people have said, Bennington maybe is due for a big game. So, like, we'll take our chances with that. Unfortunately, we don't have much of uh, options available to us. It's You're right. I think the forwards are going to be what makes the difference in this game.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, for sure. It'll be a very interesting game. We see that Canada, honestly, is going to push hard. We have Sidney Crosby behind that. I think he's going to be, I think the Canada are more experience overall, Mr. Tap. Team USA are
Absolutely.
young, the players they have. Talk about Kachuk. We talk about, the older player they have is Nelson.
That's right.
Mailer now 31, right? Grader you
Yeah.
use on the backup, 13 forward for them. So it's a young team, if you can say that. And I want to
Yeah.
talk about two players at that. And that would bring you with a subject with the Montreal Canadiens. And for the people, guys, this is what you have to target. You have to be looking at for, looking for. First of all, you have Brock Faber at $8.5 million for the Minnesota Wild, and you have Jake Sanderson at $8 million. Faber, Mr. Tap, behind Slavin, this is during the tournament, is maybe the most underrated defenseman at that tournament, in my opinion. He played 22, 23 minutes, 24 minutes per game. Look about how he plays solid on the both side of the game. And this is great to watching him. On the flip side, Jake Sanderson, after 2, 3 months really slow this year. The last 15 game, 20 game with Ottawa Senator, he stepped up. He looking good against Sweden Monday night. Sanderson with the Team USA. When we talk about player with 23 years old, 24 years old, they have that kind of pattern, right? They play in NCAA. They got draft first round pick. One party Lesson Kings was trade for Kevin Fieda trade, and Sanderson make the NCAA. I think Sanderson was with North Dakota, I believe.
I think
Uh,
so. Yeah.
and then Faber was a Minnesota golfer. But they was the same path, same thing. They went to the program I'm talking about. And then they make the NHL. They make the NHL what they look like. But what's the point behind that? But behind the game, you're going to see Thursday night against Team Canada. We have a little players called Laine Hudson, Mr. Naftap. Same pattern. Laine Hudson, like Sanderson and Faber. What's the point? Well, both of them signed a long-term contract at $8 million a plus with their team. Quinn Hughes decided to go with 5 years deal with Vancouver Canucks at 7.75. But this give you, Mr. Natap, a good indication of what Laine Hudson could looking for his new deal and what Laine Hudson could consider himself compared to Sanderson and Faber. This is the two players are really similar at some point. And this is what I want to mention to you. What do you feel about Laine Hudson versus two the player I'm talking about? And what kind of contract do you feel comfortable with the number they got for Laine Hudson?
Well, yeah, of course, you're looking in that neighborhood. There's no doubt about it. You look at premier defensemen that can carry the puck like Lane Hudson can and can generate and has a high hockey IQ and makes players around them that much better, can quarterback power play. Uh, you're definitely talking in that neighborhood, right? And that's okay. That's I mean, with the NHL salary cap going up, and with the fact that I think it's imperative that a rebuilding team, once you have various key components identified on your team that will be there. You want to lock them up for the long haul, and you have to. I mean, if you can get them to 8 years, I mean that's ideal. A contract that's 8 or 8.5 million today will look like a cheap contract, 6 or 7 years from now. And they're really these players have not really reached their peak or their ceiling as of yet, right? So you're going to get them in their prime years, and you're going to get them at a good rate, as we've seen many other players, like even as forwards, we saw, initially Draisaitl was under an extremely friendly contract for Edmonton, and we've seen how he's taken off and has done wonderful things, and now he's working towards well, he got the new contract as well with Edmonton. So uh, the point being, yes, you can expect something in that neighborhood. I think that they'll keep it commensurate with what's being dished out towards Suzuki and Caulfield, um, but it'll be in that neighborhood for sure. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, we'll be interested whether Laine is going to be bounce back, Mr. Tap, next 26 game, right? After he did,
Yeah,
after he
I
slowed
think
down
the
a little
rest.
bit.
I think the rest will have helped them, Coach.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mr. Hockey Puck will come in the house. I expect about $9 million, Mr. Tap, for Laine 8.5 to $9 million,
Easily. Yeah.
for my opinion.
Thereabouts.
Marco talk about the percentage. The percentage to recap. You're right about this, Marco. And Abination talk compared to Ken McCall. I don't see the same thing about this.
No,
Um,
there's not many players that are like Kale McCarr. That's probably not a good comparable, but um, totally understandable. But Kale McCarr is also making more.
yeah, for the people talking about Brentoni, guys, don't forget he played with Sebastian Ao. Both of them was at a tournament together. The relationship is really close, so they would try to keep Rantanen around them. But honestly, he can go left and right if he want to get there. You're welcome, Hockey Puck. Mr. Antal, finish this for this subject before we move on. It's your turn now, Mr. Antal. Two predictions. USA versus Canada, guys, in the chat. And then the MVP. Who is going to be the MVP? So, people in the chat, you can give us a little bit more information about that. Mr. Antap, after you read your Bible of all the prediction you got, what are you looking for?
Look, whenever these two teams get together, Coach, number one, uh, I think seven of their last 8 or 9 contests head to head have been by one goal or two at the most, and of the two games that were by 2 goals, there was always an empty net goal. So you know that they're going to play a close game. I don't anticipate a blowout in either direction. I think that they're well matched. For me, the difference will be two things. Number one, there's more of an injury concern right now with the USA, even though they will probably, most of them, suit up. They're going to not be 100%, and that's a bit of a nod towards Canada's direction. I think also, as I said earlier, it's extremely difficult in these kind of tournaments to win twice in a row. So I think the advantage there too goes to Canada to rebound. And I think, based off of the last game, I think that there's a solid build up to this. I think Canada wants to sort of get some kind of element of revenge based on that loss. So I'm going to predict Canada to win this, and it's mostly because of the experience. You alluded to it earlier, Coach. USA team has a lot of young players, especially on the defensive end. They got guys that are, like 22, 23, 25. But it's not even so much the age, it's the fact that they probably, if I recall, have not played on a international level in the past. Now, having said that, they look good against Canada when they played, especially the defensive core, no doubt about that. But when it comes down to the final game, winner takes all. Sometimes you hold the stick a little bit too tight, mistakes are made, and that's where the experience, I believe, of Canada's forwards will be the difference. So I'm going to take Canada to win this in regulation, 3-2.
And your
In
MVP
terms of MVP, I will go with for the game.
for the tournament,
I
right?
for the tournament. Hmm. I'm gonna throw my vote towards McKinnon. I think that We saw him sort of open up a little bit more last game. He had a couple goals. I thought he created a little bit more than he did in the previous couple games. So I like the fact that the he seems to have good chemistry now with the players he's playing, with Crosby and now that uh, who is it that moved up with him? Is it Reinhardt? No, uh, or was it Marchand? I can't remember who the winger was with him, but I mean they seem to be quite play well off of each other. So I think that'll be a big difference. I'll go with him for Canada, and for USA, I would have to say it'll probably be. I would go with a defenseman. I wouldn't discount somebody like Werenski. I think he's had a very good tournament. He's had a good year overall, and he's had a very good tournament as well. So if USA wins it, I'll give the MVP to him.
Yeah, good point. A lot of people in the chat hockey puck talk about Point and McDavid, Reinhardt, LDP, and everybody else talk about fun players. I think for me, I would predict 5-4, Mr. Remember, for USA and overtime. Uh, and I think if USA get there, is Wawrinski get that one. But don't forget Jack Eichel. I think Jack Eichel will be a player. I think he's underrated for the team USA because he's all about catch up, right? I think Jack Eichel with Wawrinski, and then for Team Canada, I think I will go with McDavid. If Kel McCall did not miss any game, that would be maybe McCall to look about that. But maybe a player from Canada step up tomorrow night or Thursday night could get that MVP Mr. Tap, a guy like Crosby or McKinnon, but I think McDavid will be
Yeah.
the one I'm talking about. So I'll give you a little bit more what happened, Mr. Tap, on the Four Nation. And let's dive in for the rest of the show talking about the Montreal Canadiens. Mr. Tap, the final exam, and I'm talking that way. We know Marco said all the time since the beginning of the season, and many fans Montreal talk about the evaluation of Kirby that. Is it center number two? Is it a winger? What happening with him after that? And he's one more year on his final year contract. And then you have Patrick Laine pop up with the Montreal Canadiens. Got hurt, came back in the middle of the season, never reached his full potential of his recovery as and be in shape. Scored 10 goal power play. Everybody is excited. Now he did not score for the last six game at 0 point. You have more game now, 8 points, 0-5 shot on the net. Everything like that. One goal the last 26 game. We talk about Patrick Laine are 5 versus 5. Put this all together, Mr. Tap. That's the final example for both of them. What is next for them? What could happen to them, Mr. Tap? Who you see for the Montreal Canadiens with Kirby Dach and Mr. Patrick Laine? The next 26 game going to give them some kind of education for this situation for them.
Yeah, let's start with Doc, I guess. I mean, the positive thing is we have seen a little bit of improvement in his play most recently. I think with this being really an evaluation year for him, and our expectations, obviously, and his as well as the organization has been for health number one, which knock on wood, so far he's pretty much avoided any injuries. But the biggest part of the evaluation to see is to sort of evaluate here was the fact, could he be our number two C forward on the second line? And you know, uh, I get it that it takes a while to come back from an injury that he had sustained. It's not easy, but I'm seeing right now that I think he would be a much more effective winger for Montreal than he would as a centerman, where he doesn't have to overthink the game as much. He doesn't have to worry about face-off, winning face-offs at key times in the game as a centerman should. He doesn't have to, I mean, he always has to be strong every player has to be strong to the best of their ability defensively, come back and help out the defense, of course, back check and whatnot. But I think he can use his size a little bit better on the wings. So obviously, I think I wouldn't discount if a trade ever came up and his name is in the conversation, but I think it would have to be, one heck of a deal in terms of what's coming back the other way. It could be a package deal that's sent the other way, but I really don't anticipate that. I think he will play for Montreal, and it will be as a winger, and it could be on the second line, or it might be on the third line, which is fine. I mean, I think he'll be successful at on either line because he has the tools to do that. When it comes to Patrick Laine, I think we have to keep it in perspective. When Montreal picked him up, I think it was to help establish some sort of strength to the second line for Montreal to help the power play, which was quite anemic the year before and wasn't producing. And it helped obviously this year with Hudson in the mix and all of a sudden Laine there, and we've seen that he's been very effective on that. Even though recently, we've seen sort of a bit of a regression in his play. Um, I don't think that he's going to be in the works for Montreal in terms of long term. I think, I think he will finish off his contract in Montreal. If they do trade him, I know you believe that it might be this summer. I think if he does get traded, he gets traded next year at the trade deadline time. For the interim time, he's a stopgap, I believe, as other prospects are developing and then are ready to assume that role on the second line, like a Michael Hage, or it could be a Joshua Roy, or somebody else that's in the works. I mean, next year we'll have Demidov, so that'll be hopefully a big help as well. Um, and I don't think personally, I don't think he's in the future for Montreal. It's a big contract to hang on to. I don't think he's gonna be looking for a contract very similar to what he has, if not more, and that would exceed, what the blueprint is for Hughes in terms of how to structure the team salary moving forward. And he's also, I think, 28 years old, if I'm not mistaken, right now, moving on to 29 very quickly. And you can tell the injuries have kind of caught up with him. He goes through these phases, which I understand part of it is mental health, and he has to deal through that. I'm very receptive to that and understand it, but the same token, like the player has to produce in the end. If they need time off, that's one thing. Otherwise, if you're out there, you have to give 100% all the time. Like people were saying, well, you got to give him better wingers to play with or better line mates to play with. Well, he's had greater line mates here in the Four Nations. And yeah, he's produced a little bit decently, but even his coach said, like he's played well. That's about it. I mean, he didn't go out of his way to really compliment his play to the degree that you would think a Patrick Laine should be at. So, I've made this much longer answer than I anticipated at the beginning, but I just don't think he's going to be here beyond the 2 years that he signed up for.
Um, yeah, uh, good comments from Mr. Tab. I tried to follow what A2 was talking about at the same time. So, yeah, look, Kirby, that for me is like, and I asked this question for Nicholas, and Marco answered too in the chat. Marco said the Quebec is a winger now. He considers him a top six. As Nicholas said, he will maybe start next season as a center number two. And it'll be interesting. We don't know. I don't know, Mr. Top, and people don't know yet how the Montreal are thinking for next year. Are they going to decide to start again with Kirby Dach or make another solution about that situation? That's what I said. The 26 remaining game could maybe give an idea for the Montreal again about Kirby Dach. I believe he's going to be more a winger. But with Demidov's coming, you have to figure out something for sure. And Patrick Laine, for me, I don't know when they make that trade. What was the thought about this? Is it a short term deal for them? Is it
Yeah, I
okay?
think
We get him for one or
I
2 years, and then we move on. We just make the transition. What he said for the like Montebo contract. I believe Montebo was the transition of the goaltender. I think is it you feel the same way with Patrick Laine with Montreal Canadiens?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a stopgap. The intention was that if he took things, if he took off and really returned to the form that he was with when he was with Winnipeg in the years that he was with Ehlers, I mean, they would have considered probably bringing him on. Nothing wrong with that, and having somebody of his talent level on a power play, especially. But I think that overall, he doesn't quite fit the direction in which the team is going. And so this was, for me, and again, my opinion, I realize others will probably see it differently, but I think he was a stopgap for the 2 years that he's here. And it gave the opportunity for some of the younger prospects to develop properly in Laval or elsewhere in order for them to be ready to be implemented at the NHL level in the not too distant future.
You're right about that. Great comments. Steven for Marco. Steven is right. I read this. I cannot remember where I read it, but it was the comments about that. Did not like. I know it was on the RDS. François Gagnon
What
or
was the comment?
Arpen Bassu about that reaction when they see him when he met the management to talk about friend video within that. Dach was not very happy about that.
It wasn't just Doc though. It was also Patrick Laine, and this is their mid evaluation meetings that they had with each player individually, and it
Yeah,
wasn't so much what they said, but it's the body language that they read off of
yeah.
what they were saying, and right away it sort of innuated that maybe this is not what we want moving forward. So that's where the source is coming from. I forget who posted that as well, but they do that every year where they talk to the players, which I think is an excellent idea. Just to say, hey, these are our expectations. This is what we're seeing, or to congratulate them, or to indicate areas of improvement and ways in which to do it. And you have to be able to read off of that. It's like when you're drafting a player, coach. Why do you have those interviews with the players? It's to see if their character fits the general blueprint that you have set forward, and whether there'll be chemistry with the players that are there now. Is this the kind of person that will complement your team, or is it the kind of person that will be divisive in your dressing room?
Yeah, great comments about everything. That's I appreciate that. A2, Mr. Nata pop up earlier. He asked me a question and I did not read it. I didn't miss it. So sometimes I miss your question, but he's not upset about that. He just repeat the questions. He's looking for which young player at the KHL have a good year this year. And for
Mm.
the draft. So I look. If you think about this, I tried to get how many points he has right now. If I can get it, I will give it to you. A2, and I'm talking about Nikita Artemanov, right, Mr. Natap? Is it Artemanov?
He- Artamanov, yeah,
Right. So he was
yeah, he's
drafted
having a
last
good
year,
year.
second round by Carolina Hurricane, I believe.
Um, yeah, you might be right about that. I think it was
Yeah.
Carolina. Yeah,
So anyway, he have a great year with his team. Um, I think he played with Torpedo. No,
that
no,
I'm not sure of.
too many. too many things is coming my pop up idea. So is one of them um, have a great year. So it was draft at some point was only a couple point behind Demidov at some point, and try to get him right now. And I'll give you exactly the number, the point he has. Um, Artemadov, Nikita
He's having a
Artemadov.
solid year.
It was with Torbedo. Exactly what I was right. He has right now 31 points. He has 17 goals, only two goals behind Demidov. So I know about that. Now, there are other players to pay attention. The defenseman also with Torpedo, Arton Siliev, draft by the New Jersey Devils, a big John, 6'5", 6'6", Mr. Tap. Had a great year this season in the KHL. His first year, honestly. You have also a second year. Yeah, Daniel Bott, if you remember, draft by the team Utah or Arizona in the
Yeah,
past. The same year they draft Simachev. They got also Daniel Bott. They have a good year. I think I could be wrong. Yukov, is it Yurav or Yukov? I think it's Yurav, Mr. Artap.
Urov. Yeah,
Yurav.
yeah.
He have a good year also, and with his team. Try to get him if I can get it exactly with Ural Danila. Ural play with Midalpur. That's another one. Have a good year at the KHL, young age for that one. You have 21 years old. You have 25 points this year, 13 goals, 12 assists. So that's the name I pop up right now for that. Um, they have a young players for that organization. You can see. So that's the best answer I gave it to you. A2 for the KHL. In my opinion, you have other players a little bit less, but they are the biggest name at pop up this season at the KHL. So would be interesting what happening about that. Maurice Robillard is in the house. Welcome back, Maurice Robillard. Thanks a bit for all the likes we got. There were a couple of missing, a couple to get 60 likes, guys. If you don't mind, that'd be awesome for that one. That's happening, Mr. Nata. We move on with other things, if you don't mind. NHL draft target, Mr. Nata. And I want to share it with you guys because you guys, you have 26 games remaining. We talk about Ken Hughes, trade deadline, Laval Rocket, and the prospect for the Montreal Canadiens. Why? Because, Mr. Nata, the Montreal Canadiens look like, and I hope Randy is right, but the Calgary are going to make the playoff, and they're going to be at the 14, 15. Montreal Canadiens could be at the, you're welcome, A2, maybe could be draft between 7 to 12. 7 to 12?
I think so. I think it's realistic. I know that their strength of schedule is not going to be that bad the rest of the way, but I think it's going to happen. They're going to drop a little bit, probably organically, based on what happens at the trade deadline time and who gets traded. It might leave some gaps, and they don't really want to mess too much with the players from Laval. So you could have some holes in their some bigger holes. Let's say that with the team, and that could organically cause them to drop a little bit more in the standings. I don't think it'll be something that's drastic, but I think it's realistic to say they'll probably be somewhere between 7 to 11, their first pick.
Yeah, you're absolutely about that. I tried to looking for someone and KHL, but I don't have the name right now, so it could be back later. About the A2 last year of that contract next year, Tim has to make a decision about him before next season trade deadline. Great point about that. I think they're going to keep him around, but it would be interesting. So, instead of that, the NHL draft, most of the team and the most expert, Bob McKenzie, Wheeler, Brumman, Elliott Prospect, McQueen, whatever other app prospect, everything like that. Excuse me about that, Mr. Tap. We have David St. Louis, Cam Robinson, I can name it, guys. We have many people, but most of them are targeting Sheffer, Misa, Higgins, Martin, Frondel, and McQueen. They are the most top six right now in NHL draft. So you can learn about them, but I don't think they will be available when the Montreal Canadiens are going to select at the NHL draft. Obviously,
It'll be
it is
hard.
what it is. So, what I did, Mr. Tap, for the people, what they should targeting or looking for the rest of the season is talking about those players. Again, the name we just mentioned to you, maybe McQueen could go a little bit lower, and maybe some of the name you have to pay attention, guys. Caleb Denoyer, Victor Eklam, Cameron Bear, Jimmy O'Brien, but it's not Jimmy O'Brien. It's James O'Brien, I believe, for Brentford Bulldogs. I apologize. I watch him all year long. I should know his
It's
first name.
Jake. Jake.
Jake
Jake.
O'Brien. Here we go. And then
Yeah.
Justin Carbono. They are
Yes.
the best forward after the first name we just mentioned to you, between 7 to 15. Of course, you have defensemen we don't mention there. I remove all the left defensemen right there, and the right defensemen are coming. But they are at the point where the Montreal again, the first selection, they are the player they're targeting about that. Then we is a rising and the standing guys. Then we start about 12, 13, 14, 15 in October. You have a good tournament with Team Canada. It's getting great on the QM. And now some of them put him on the around 5, 6, 7 and the NHL draft. So Dinwiddie is one of them. Victor Eklam, for me, was the best European players in front of Frondel. Some of other people like Frondel. I still believe Eklam over them, but I put Frondel over him right now for this for the statement the subject of the for the Montreal Canadiens. He's a 5'8", 10, 11. Is a great. Is the brother of William Eklam. Play with San Jose Sharks. A little bit better at William Eklam, in my opinion. Cameron Bear is a little bit a late boomer on that draft. Start late,
Right.
late on the first round pick at the beginning of October. Is getting closer at the top 10 right now. Great player forward. As some player to look about this. I believe he's 6 foot 135, Mr. Tap. O'Brien, this is my wild card. Other fact, guys, I was all about Michael Misa last year, and I've been here would tell me all the time
I
it
love
was
me.
Misa. At that time, Misa was 6'7", and the NHL draft was behind Martin, McQueen, Sheffer. But now he's getting getter and clear. Yeah, 50 goal, 50 game. Is looking good. Now, for me, it's O'Brien. O'Brien played with Larkis. He played with Prats. He played with Vac. Is it Vac Venner? Vac draft by the first round pick last season. He hurt his shoulder and he dropped in the initial draft last year. I think the Flyers get him, but I could be wrong. I know that the Flyers got Lichenko, Lefchenko. Yeah. But anyway, he played with that team. He played with that line right now. Urban is looking great. This for my wildcat right now. I would love Montreal select him O'Brien. Now I also have Justin Carbonneau. I still believe Justin is not on the top 10, Mr. Top right now. But that give you 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys. This is a player you have to pay attention for the next couple of weeks if you want to follow the NHL draft for the pick of the Montreal Canadiens. Now, finishing that one, Mr. Tab, but then we'll move on for the clash. Don't forget the right defenseman. Now, they have other left defensemen in Mr. Tab, like Smith, example, Egchinkin, you know, they are there. But there are 3 right defensemen considered the top 20 in the NHL draft. One of them is getting close to the 10, is Emerka, as a big fellow, a 6'5 defenseman. Yeah, Logan Ensler. Now, Ensler was considered top 10 last year, guys. He's struggling in NCAA, but I think he could be around 15 to 17, 18, when the Montreal could select the second for the Calgary Flame. And Fittler is a wild card. He's not a defenseman, play Bill Missotap with the under brother, London Knight, behind Parek. Is it Parek with London Knight? I think it is. Or Dickinson.
I think it. I think it's Dickinson. I
Right?
think it's Dickinson.
So he's Bill
Yeah.
with now I'm talking about the guy from the Flyers. His dad play in NHL. Bonk. Here we go. With Bonk.
Oh,
Bonk.
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
anyway, so I think Fittler, his son, is the son of the guy playing in NHL also. Is another wild card on that one. The other right three defensemen, Montreal could they're looking for right defenseman. So Montreal getting out a good position for the draft NHL. I don't know if you want to mention other name. I did not mention Ratkin, Spence. You have other name, Lankovic. Another one is the big fellow, 6'4", 6'5". But I don't see him yet on the top 50. He could be there, but it would be this. Again, I remove Reed, all the left defensemen. I think Montreal is not going targeting anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility to think. I think with their own pick, they're going to obviously try to go for a centerman that has some size and fits exactly what uh, they need, which is down the road a second line centerman. You look at guys like Dehonye, Caleb. Like he's a big fellow out of Moncton. I like the way he plays. He's got even a bit of an edge to him. His skating is very good. Um, Carter Bear, I'm a little bit more leery of. I know he's played both on the left side and the center for the most part. He's not a big fellow, so I don't know if they go that direction. To be honest with you, I agree with you. I love if we can get Jake O'Brien. Here you're getting. I think he plays for Brantford, I want to say, but I'm not 100% sure.
O'Brien?
Like he's a big fellow. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, he
Is he
Bradford. I watch him all the time.
Brett? Right. I mean, he's 6'2". He's, I think, 200. No, he's not 200. I think he's just under 200. But I mean, he's put together a great year. I think he's got around 75 to 80 points so far in the OHL. So he's very promising. And I know that a lot of the scouts have spoken extremely high of him. Um, if if somebody like obviously Eklund would be nice, coach. I just don't think he's going to fall to 9, 10, or 11. If anything, I think his stock will rise a little bit. And the fact that he's not a centerman, he's more of a left winger, um, and he's uh, a bit on the small side. I think he's around 5'10", 5'11", something
He's
like
five and
that.
above.
But yeah, his brother's really ripping it up in San Jose. So I agree with you. I think he's a little bit better than his brother. So he would definitely be a great pickup. I just don't think he's going to fall that low for Montreal to go with. So I agree that if they should target somebody, it probably O'Brien would be their best bet. I like the combination of size and skill that he brings to the table. And then with the Calgary pick, depending on where it is, like if it's around 17, 18, 19,
Yeah,
somewhere
I
in
don't
that
think so. I
neighborhood,
think it would be more like 15, 16, 17, 18 after that.
15, 16.
Because
So
17,
like
18
if
is you have to be in a bit playoff. I'm not sure you're going to make it. So I
yeah,
think 15,
and
sixteen.
it's not a particularly strong year for defensemen this year, as it has been in the past. I mean, obviously Schaefer's your number one overall, at least at this stage, and you can see why he is. But once he's off the table, you have Mitka, which I think is extremely good. I mean, he's got great size. I think he's around 6'7", if I'm not mistaken.
Which one?
Uh, Radim Mirka. I've spoken
Yeah,
about
it's
him in the past.
6'6", something like that.
Yeah,
I think it would be top 15. I'm opinion. I think he would
yeah,
not
he
be.
might be. So if that type of defenseman is available, and he's a right-handed defenseman to boot, I mean that could be a direction that Montreal pivots. Again, you can never have enough defensemen in my eyes, right? You can always package them if at some point in a deal that addresses another need for the team. I just I just don't know if whether they're going to go two forwards and a defense and two forwards or a forward and a defenseman. But they're going to try to address center first, and then if the best player at 15 it happens to be a defender, they're going to go that direction, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I think it's something that would help them down the road. I really, like I said, I really like Murka. He's an excellent prospect, and I think he'll do well. So I would go O'Brien and Murka if they're available at that point.
Yeah, definitely the players right there. I think they were looking. I think they could go with two players right there. Um, for me, I want a player. We don't talk about this. Is Evan Rapkin. Evan Rapkin, guys, it was a players considered top 5 1 year ago.
I mean, he's with the USHL, right? He's
Now,
an American player.
no, he's from Russia.
Oh,
Um,
he's Russian. Okay,
yeah, and
I thought he was.
and he started season at the KHL, but he had some problem. He got hurt. They dropped
Hmm.
him from KHL to MHL, and he's struggling a bit in the MHL. Some talk about behavior or work ethic, everything like that. I'm not sure about that. It's hard to get the right thing about this. I got a couple of games for him, but not much about. But Rapkin, guys, he was considered a little bit at top 5, 6, 7 at some point. Montreal dropped 17, 18. This is the kind of name
Yeah.
maybe could be associated with Montreal again. But again, it's very hard to get
Well,
out. But he's an excellent player. He was considered like 2 years ago, guys. The next after Mishkov, Demidov, it was Rapkin right there. And Rapkin was the top 5. If you look about July 2024 and October 2024, look the projection of the prospect for the first draft. Rapkin was the top 10. So
yeah.
I'm not saying they will draft him, but it's something you have to remember him about him. So
Coach, what are your thoughts on Brady Martin? Do you like him out of the
Tony
city?
Martin is a very interesting case, right? He's
Because
getting
he
better
could
and
be in
better.
that level,
I'm surprised I did not put his name over there. Because I know why I did not put his name. Because Martin is more concerned 15 to 20
right?
at
Okay,
the at 7 to 12. That's the reason I did not put him with Denway, everything like that. But Martin is on the same page with Landovic, mission attack, I believe, in my opinion. And that
that's
would
good.
be between 15 to 20. And the next couple of weeks, Monday, we give us an indication about him. But Martin, at the beginning, guys, was a second round pick at the end of the first round pick. And now he's getting to 20 to 15,
Yeah,
20.
yeah.
Um, this is another forward you have to pay attention a bit more.
He's a
Uh,
natural centerman, right? He's a
yeah,
natural centerman.
yeah.
I think he's what 6'1" or something like that, if
Uh,
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, honestly, it's 6'1". Maybe it's for 6. I know Luke Laforson is working on that. He will give us his size, if you don't mind, Luke, to give us to us. That'd be great. But yeah, so this is the name guy we're going to bring to you for the next couple of weeks until we get the NHL draft. But we'll be interesting. Excel said, will Matthew Sheffer draft stock go down given he got a long-term injury with surgery?
I don't think so. I mean, I think Schaefer is the real deal. This guy, uh, you know, if everything goes well, he will be at like he's the kind of guy that can take over a game from a defensive standpoint, and he's strong defensively. He's great offensively as well. He'll quarterback your power play. He's got great size. He's the entire package, and I don't anticipate him being lower than number one. The injury, as unfortunate as it was, I don't think it's a serious thing. It's not like a back injury that you have to worry about, right? It happened at the juniors there where he ran into the post with his shoulder, I think it was, and it's something he'll recover from, no problem.
Yeah, it's a 102 at the end of the day for Sheffer. I only said that, Mr. Otas, because maybe the team at number one, or
Yeah,
maybe that okay, we have enough left defensemen. We pack there. We don't have that, and we prefer to go with forward. And
James Haley.
Michael Mesa right now. You don't make mistake anyway. So I think it could be 1 or 2, but I don't see him fall apart on number three. They are the only two players right now on the top of that list.
I agree. Yeah,
There we go. It's 6 foot, Bernie Martin. So I was right about that.
6 foot.
165 was what my thinking about that. Skellen is in the house. Same for all that we got on that one. Every time that. So that was the initial draft, Mr. Tap. We have a couple of subjects. We're going to go to the clash, guys. I think the clash will be fun for all of you to join us tonight on the clash, Mr. Tap. I think it'll be interesting. Absolutely or not at all. That will be the question tonight. So we appreciate a lot for that one. Mr. Center at the top for right defenseman on the pocket, Mr. Marco insert two. X2 on the pocket. Thanks again, everybody. Don't forget, please, to click on the like. If you don't mind, Mr. Tap, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, Mr. Tap.
Absolutely.
Why not do this for
Absolutely, I
you?
should have said.
I will give it to you, Mr. Tap. Here we go. Montreal Canadiens play for 500 in the last 26 games.
Mm-hmm.
Not at the end of the season. Okay? So pay
Yeah,
attention to that. It's only for the last 26 games. I should put the last 26 games, but honestly, I did not put. But I can add this Mr. Tap. So you know what I'm talking about. The last 26 games.
I'm going to say they're going to be slightly under. So I'm going to say not at all. I think they'll be just below it.
Abination said no. Excel said yes. Absolutely. RDP. Not at all. Not at all. Absolutely. It's 50-50, Mr. Tap.
Yeah, it's again, just suspect that there'll be some action at the trade deadline time that will cause them to sort of drop a little bit. Otherwise, I like the fact that they have, I don't want to say an easier schedule, but when you rank it, it is one of the top five right now, strength of schedule. But nowadays, they're all the teams in the league are tough to play against. So I'm not going to put much stock in that and hope for the best. I think it's not at all, just slightly under
If they
500.
play Mr. Tap 500, do you know the total of the point at the end of the year?
They'll have, well, they'll, if they're 500, 13, 26. And what do they have right now?
They are 56, so they will get that. So we give them 55. They give them
80,
81 points.
which is right in the range that I predicted them at the beginning of the year when I said
So
80 to 82.
yeah,
So that sounds about right.
I said not at all on that one. Sorry, look,
Yeah.
you know, go to get your 88 point. By the way, look on that one. There are two Mr. Tap. Tampa Bay Lightning finished third in the Atlantic Division.
Oh man, it depends, I guess, on their injuries as well. But that's a fair question. Yikes! They'll finish third. I'm going to say yes, absolutely. I know Ottawa right now is really looking very good, but I'm not 100% sure that their goaltending situation will be 100% in terms of health. And they've got some other injuries. I think Norris is out now, and Pinto is out. We don't know, the state of Brady Kachuk as well. He got injured at the Four Nations. So I think Tampa Bay will finish third. So absolutely, absolutely.
All right. I agree with you about that one, Mr. Tap. Number three.
I like
Not
I like the special effects.
not only Ottawa Senators, Mr. Tap, but also the Detroit Red Wings are in the playoff.
Oh goodness, that's the key word there is and, so they have to be both. Um, I'm going to say not at all. I anticipate Ottawa will, but somehow Detroit always finds a way to drop towards the end. We've seen it, the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, Columbus seems to be playing with, a mission this year, and they're looking good. The Rangers are making a bit of a push as well. I think they're only 2 or 3 points out themselves. Even the Islanders came from second last in the uh, in the East, and now are in a contending position. I think they're only 4 points out themselves. So I'm going to go with not at all. I don't think Detroit is the one that gets in.
Okay, interesting. Um, if it's the case, Mr. Tap, it would be 5 teams of that Class C division,
It could very well be. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
the logic is not at all, but I will go with absolutely. Mr.
No,
Tap,
no hope in Boston. No hope in Boston, Coach.
no. Um,
No.
and unfortunately for Pittsburgh, are not there. Mr. Tap, the next one, I think about you. The Winnipeg
Winnipeg.
Jet win the President Trophy.
Oh man, I think it's really a race between them and Washington. To be totally honest, Winnipeg right now, what are they at? 81, and Washington is they might be at 81 as well, right?
80.
Washington 80.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be between those two teams. I look, I know for sure Winnipeg is going to be active, trying to pick up. I think they're looking at two positions to address. One will be on defense to solidify their top four defensive core, their top two defensive lines, and one is to get possibly a a third line really tough to play against type of player, a guy that comes with a little bit of experience. I know they've talked about the possibility of looking into Nelson from the Islanders if he's available for trade. That's a complementary piece that they would love to have that can add scoring as well. So I think Winnipeg is the real deal. So I'm going to say absolutely they will win the President's Trophy.
They won the last 8 games, by the way.
Yeah, they've been
I
hot.
mean, while Washington lost only 1 game the last 10 games.
It's between those two, I think.
Yeah, you're
I
right
don't
about that.
anticipate it.
Honestly, there are only two. I will not allow that because they play the Dallas. Um, you know, they're on the division with Colorado Avalanche, Minnesota Wild. They're going to still play with Vegas. So I think the difficult schedule of the Jet over Capitals that we're helping the Capitals for that. So not allow on that one. Mr. Top number 4,
Yeah.
5. The Montreal Canadiens have more points at the St. Louis Blues. They are tied right now 50
Oh,
55,
they're tied.
55 55, 56 game.
Oh my gosh. Uh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I think they'll be very, very close. 55 points. I'm going to go with absolutely as well. I think those it'll be very, very close, but I think Montreal will finish 1 or 2 points ahead of St. Louis.
I'll go with not allowing on that one, Mr. Top.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% sold on it either, but yeah, it could go either way.
Just to give you an idea, Mr. Top. And on the Eastern Conference, Montreal Canadiens are only 3 teams below them. The St. Louis Blues has 5 teams below them.
That's right. Yeah,
So that's the
that
reason
tells a
I go
lot.
that one. I
Yeah.
wish I could give you a better idea, better idea why I took the Blues, but no, that's the reason I took that one, Mr. Tap. And finally, the last
Yeah.
one, Mr. Tap, you like that one. I know you said I would like that one. Over 6.5, Canada, USA, Mr. Tap.
No. If you look at the scores over the last 10 meetings that these guys have had, they've all been close games and all have been under 5. And so was the last game they played. So I'm going to go with the under on this, or just say not at all.
Over 6.5. So if you predict your score, it would be what?
I said it would be 3-2 Canada. So it's under.
Now, I will look stupid if I said under because I said 5-4 since the beginning of the beginning of this tournament. But the logic, Mr. Tab, you're right. It's going to be. I'm surprised, everybody, guys. I'm going to be surprised. I want to be surprised this game finished 4-1, Mr. Tab. It's going to be like an empty net or 2 empty net.
Yeah, that could be, but it'll still be under.
Yeah, that's the point behind that. Or 4-2, Mr. Tab. Logically, I go with under, so it would be not allowed. But my prediction was honestly over. But I will go with not allowed on my question. I work hard, Mr. Natal, to make that clash tonight for you and for other
Nice.
people in the chat.
And I like the special effects. That was good with the drum
I
roll.
think it was good stuff I did. Marco Larabe will be with us tomorrow night for the notebook, by the way. We appreciate that. Marco got 4-1. They should go with 3-2.
Ooh, 4-1 USA.
Look, that was go with 5-3. If for other people in the chat, I could add one more, Mr. Natal, but for people in the chat, if Alibak gave 3 goals or more, what he looked like his reputation, and they lose 5-4-3, example.
Well, so far, I think he stood out. He's answered the bell in terms of, winning in key games. And we saw, the difference when he wasn't in net against Sweden. I know they had other players that were not suited up. I get that. But, a goaltender should still stop the pucks that are made to be stopped. And I thought Ottinger let in an easy one yesterday. I don't think Hellebuck has done that to date in the first 2 games that he's played. So I don't know if your question was if they lose, if he allows 3
If
or more
Alibak
goals.
allow 3 goals or more, and they lose.
Yeah, I don't think it signify. You should raise any red flags about Hellebuck. I mean, you're talking about they're playing the arguably the best team with the best talent as well between these 2 teams. So if he allows, let's say, 3 or 4 goals, you can rest assured that they were probably well earned. So I wouldn't be alarmed by that and say he won't perform in the playoffs.
On top, I put this name right there.
Roger the Master. Yes.
Do you know what happening?
He's in the house.
Oh, he did it! Roger the
Woo!
Thanks so much, Roger, for the super chat, ladies and gentlemen. Roger, the first of the night, we appreciate that contribution and, of course, support of the channel, guys. Mr. Roger Delaney been with us, one of the oldest the chat with Larry Lavalley. So both of you guys, we said thanks so much for what you do at the channel tonight. A2 said, Mr. Tap, US winning this tournament, but he will learn injuries. I'm learning Canada won 2. Crosby and Internet. Crosby is It was only his second shot when he scored in the empty net, Mr. Tap.
Yeah, but he played a solid game though. He was really all over the ice, back checking and just setting
Maracus,
up other
Akam
players.
Maracus, Mr. Tap, is in the house with now Skeleton, Mr. Tap. So,
Skeleton.
yeah, we welcome him also. Thanks for all the live we got tonight, guys. Mr. Tap, unfortunately, it's time to go.
Yeah, that's until next time, Coach.
I have to tell you one story. Last night was not
Tell
about the
me,
cheese last night.
it was about the smell of cheese.
Last night, guys, for all the people in the chat follow my story and my adventure in Thailand. It was the last night of Reggie in Thailand. He's leaving for Vietnam
Ooh.
this morning, and we have my other friend Pierre from Saint Jean was with me. So they asked me to go out early bird at 8 o'clock p.m. last night, guys. So I never go out me before 11 o'clock. Like I go out at 10 o'clock. It's really my early night. But 8 o'clock, Mr. Anta, I said, this is going to be ugly. Like, why at 8 o'clock? So we went to the bar to play pool, Mr. Anta. First time in my life, I stay on that side of that bar for 8 hours, Mr. Anta. So we closed the bar at 4 a.m. Last night
Wow.
with Reggie and Reggie. Now, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's going to take another plane. Maybe he's going to go Japan, Mr. Natap, not in Vietnam. Who knows what happened with Reggie? But Pierre, we did a great night last night. I play solid, Mr. Natap, at the pool. It's not a sport. Is it a sport? I don't think so. It's a sport anyway. I don't play a lot pool, but I'm pretty good for the number of hours I play in pool. The last night was on fire, Mr. Natap. I keep the table
You're
for
sharp.
about over 1 hour. Nobody can beat. They have you put your name on the board, all right, and they delete when you play by thing. And I did a second round about that. Now you can say, well, if you stay on the table, Mister, for 1 hour and a half, you don't play a lot. The play was not very good. You may be right, Mister, Tap about that. But
Coach the
if you have a
shark.
chance to go to Thailand, and I would say to
Yes.
you, go play pool and play against 10 Thai women, Mister Tap. I will give you
I
one
would
hundred dollars if you win 3 times.
I would
Because
lose for sure.
those cheese can play pool, Mr. Nata. They can play
Oh, I'm
pool.
sure.
They pass
Or
their
they know
life
how
to play
to.
pool, the lady girl at the bar. So they are really good players at the pool, Mr. Nata. But it was a great night. We have a good time. And we come back
That's
again
amazing, Coach.
tonight, Mr. Nata. We are back there
Have,
tonight.
have they dedicated a seat for you now? It has your name on the back, Coach.
It's crazy to say that about that. We have a good time. That's the most important thing anyway. Sometimes we want to thank Luciano, Run with Kings, moderator the Hockey Nation show. Marco was with us in the chat tonight. Thanks so much, Marco, to be around. We see you tomorrow night, Marco, at 8:30 p.m. for another show. We want to thank also Mr. Nartar for the co-host of the show tonight. And all the people, click on the likes. Thanks so much. Super chat, Roger Delaney. Also, can I bring the news update? And thanks for all of you. Be careful, guys. A lot of snow, I know. Stay home and watch the Hockey Nation, Habs Nation tomorrow night, 8:30. And the only reason we got 60 likes, Mr. because the people in the chat are this way. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Exactly. That's who you are, Mr. Tapa. You have greatness inside of you. It was a pleasure to work with you again. I can wait to see you, I
Always
believe,
a pleasure.
Sunday night for the weekly report. Right till then, enjoy the rest of your week and be careful with the snow. And, like I said, don't worry. Shoot that to Luciano in the backyard. Right there
I
behind it.
try. I try every day. It's getting there.
Blue more. You have to blue more, Mr. Tap. That would be the best way to do that. Thanks so much, Mr. Tap. We'll go to finish the show.
Always
around
a pleasure,
But
Coach.
before we leave, Mr. Tap, we tell you that. Be well, be health. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first half of what?
You're 20, 25, and go, Canada, go!
He did it again. I will see you next Sunday, Mr. Tap. Have a great rest of your week.
Will do. Thank you, and good night, Hockey Nation.
Good night. Mr. In up top and leave the building, and now it's the time to finish the show all together. I appreciate all of you. Nicolas de Boubibano bop up at the last minute. And Nicholas, thanks so much to be with us. Maurice Abiard, always a pleasure to see you. Marie Lavallée, Luciano, guys, thanks again to be a part of the show tonight. You're the only reason why we do a great show is because in our top and many of you have a great subject. N26 tonight was fire. Marco on fire. Steven, Mark Elliott, and I missed many others. Ixon was with us. We did not answer you. If we did not answer your question, we apologize. Sometimes it's too fast. Hopefully, but again, I too appreciate that you understand the situation, and glad to have all of you with us tonight. We'll be back tonight 8:30 for another show of the Notebook with the Montreal Canadiens with Marco Larabé. We'll go to slide tomorrow. We preview the game Canada. We talk about tonight, but we'll talk about fun things. We'll see what happened around the NHL, more news, and Montreal Canadiens also. Laval Rocket play tomorrow night, so we're going to talk about that game also live tomorrow night. Laval Rocket play 3 games during the week, Wednesday, Friday night, and Saturday. So we're going to follow all the 3 games, give you a little bit more information about the Montreal Canadiens prospect. What happened even Demidov? Demidov is off until the 22nd, I believe. I think you have 4 days off for Demidov. We're going to bring you during the weekend, going to NCAA. And we're going to consist to predict to give you all the information about the Montreal Canadiens and the Montreal Canadiens prospect. That's all we got for you tonight. Until the next time, my friend. I want to tell you one more thing. The Hockey Nation, I should the Habs Nation want to tell you one more thing. Like I said, we love you, friends. Good night, everybody. I'm going to play pool again tonight with my chief from UK. I know. Why not take time to do it one more time? The Cheese Hustler. Good night, Mr. Luc and Maurice Sobiar from Thailand. Wife from Thailand. And Reggie, leave the building. Reggie is funny. Reggie. Oh. Here we go. Booyah!